Well, welcome to Noel's World of Whiskey, and I said I was going to do it, and what I am doing is this here is the winner and the runner-up, the gold medal and the silver medal of the port shootout that we did a while back there. We had a half a dozen, and actually it was about 8 in the beginning. I was trying to figure out which of the 8 we should use. We ended up with a half a dozen different whiskeys that we competed against one another there, and we came up with Glendronach was the winner, and very close behind it was the Springbank. And what we want to do is, this one I just recently reviewed was the Tullibardine triple port cask, and of course the Cragganmore port finish. We're going to see how they favor against these two here, the winners. What I am going to show you though is that previous, just a wee small chunk of that previous review. We kind of condensed it, and so you have an idea of what we did when we were testing. And well, here it is, and we'll see you in a couple of minutes. I am focused today on port finished whiskeys. And part of my focus is what is a good value for a whiskey that is still decent quality and accessible. So how we're going to work this is there is a number under each glass that I can't see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
And we poured each whiskey into a glass with the number hidden on the bottom. We removed the bottles and we mixed up the glasses so we couldn't identify them. Then we proceeded in testing the different grams of whiskey twice in 2 different rounds. And we finally came up with the winner.
Standing here was this guy here is the winner. Was the winner of the bunch. And very coincidentally, that was the Glendronach Portwood. And this guy here was number 2. And that was the 5 there. And that was the cheater. That was the Springbank Portwood. I just threw that one. So as you can see, this guy here, the Glendronach Portwood, was the winner, and Springbank was close second. Now this is 46%. I believe this was up in the 52-ish, somewhere around there. We got a 46% here. This guy is a little on the weak side, but a very strong body to it. So for a small 40%, when I threw it in there, I just want to see what happened. So this is for fun. I want to see how this does against this, and maybe let's just throw a weaker whiskey in and see if it does okay as well. So how we're going to do this is we have these glasses numbered underneath, and I've copied the numbers down. We're going to pour a dram out of each one here, the Springbank here, the Glendronach, and then of course the Tullibardine, and of course the Cragganmore. And then what we'll do, we're going to mix up the glasses as I did before. We are not going to, these bottles will not be behind those glasses. So it's really just kind of going through them there, and then we'll check the number of the winner and the runner-up and so on and so on. Let's do it like that. Okay, so let's go at it, and let's get started and have some fun. So I got everything all mixed up here. These bottles are not lined up with the glasses. The whole idea behind this is to keep it simple. Let's go through it fairly fast. Let's have a little fun. Let's just see how they fare against one another. So we're going to start off right off the bat. Don't know what it is. I've mixed the glasses up. We're going to do a kind of a quick nose on it here. This has got a rich nose right off the bat. And again, I don't know the number. I can't see the number of the glass, so I don't know what it is. But I do have on the back side here, I do have the numbers, so we can identify each glass. So fairly rich nose, a bit of a nutty nose. It's got a little bit of a nutty character to it there. So almonds and very grapey. That gets me thinking of my last review. Little flowery note there. Again, last review I was getting into the flowers, the flower gardens, the gardenias and that kind of stuff. So got some honey notes here, very berry. Okay. Solange. Really feel the port spice, spicy port. Berries. A little bit of tartness there, but spicy. A little bit of wood. Some malt notes. Grain. Again, port. How do I identify port? I really like port. I drank a bit of port in my years, and it's been a wine that I've enjoyed. Maybe that's why I enjoy the port finished whiskies. Some people don't. Some people do not like port finished whiskies. I enjoy them. I've had a few bad ones though. So this is good. I like this. Again, it's not this. Or by accident it could be, but these bottles are not lined up with. I just left them there so you can see what what we have here. So amongst these glasses, somewhere there's a Glendronach. Amongst these glasses, somewhere there's a Tullibardine. Somewhere there's a Cragganmore, and somewhere there's a Portwood. Okay, so let's get into this one here. And by the way, they all have numbers, so I'm just going to keep them in order like this, just at first here, just so we can kind of get an idea. This has got it's got almost, I hate to say it, worm tubs. It's got a muskiness about it, boy. Different than this, boy, is it different than this. It's a real muskiness. It's got a richness, but an older drink. Definitely an older drink. Older whiskey, older style whiskey. The best way to describe it, almost a little bit of a dirty whiskey. And that dominated more than the port, by the way. Yeah, slight bit of port there, but it's I swear, worm tubs. That's not good because I think I know the ones that have the worm tubs. So, yeah. So what you're getting here is typical of what I get with my worm tubs. Those dirty whiskeys and that. But I am getting the port notes now. They're coming through. I'm getting some berries. I'm getting a bit of richness. It seems to be coming through now. Now the honey notes. Maybe a little bit of Cragganmore going on here. I have Manuka honey for sure, yeah. And more of the dark fruit. Okay, Solange. Spicy, but Cragganmore spicy. But we know we don't have a Cragganmore here. A little bit of bitterness. I'm getting just a wee bit of umami notes here. Bit of a meaty taste to it. Body, I can see some body to this. This one's going to surprise me, I think. At least right now, it's surprising me. I think I know. I think I'm guessing already what it is. The port is, I'll be honest with you, port is not strong here. I think that the umami and the distillate itself is quite strong. It's very, you're getting the distillate more than in this drink here. You're getting out more of the port. This one here, you're getting more of the distillate character. Maybe, the stills and the worm tubs. I really believe there's worm tubs here. But it's got that old-fashioned taste to it, and not as rich in honey as this one here. Lighter honey notes, maybe more. We're getting the almost like a little bit of molasses going on here, but I'm not going to dwell on that one because we're going to get back to it eventually. Let's move on here. Let's get on to this guy right here, and Solange. Okay, that's a very flowery note, but light. The lightest so far for a nose, but very floral. bit of citrus going on. And again, yeah, I'm going to say I'm getting a little bit of the wood, and I'm getting some. It's not bourbon notes. It's definitely it's a lighter port influence, but the port's there. But compared to this, it's like 180 degrees. It's much lighter. The honey notes are there, but this is this one here would be a little bit more on the clover honey side. Okay, palate, Solange. Boy, palate. Now the palate, boom. Compared to the nose, spicy. Now I'm getting the port. I could not detect the port in the nose, but man, I can taste the port now. So more of a drying effect here in my mouth. So spicy, few bitter notes now. I'm going to say a slight bit on the astringent side. Spicy. Boy, almost like fennel. Licorice. Mint. And I thought I was getting a little bit of mint in the nose. But like I say, the fennel, the eucalyptus, the cough drops, but a little bit of coating there on the mouth. Spice again, nutmeg, and probably cabin. Boy, it's I've got one of the spices there, and it's on the tip of my tongue. Darn it! I'm regretful. I should have gone through my spices earlier before doing this here, because it's a spice. I know it would nail it dead on, but anyways, that's fine. We'll move on. Let's now get into this guy here, and the nose. Oh, rich nose again. Lots of I'm going to say fudgy smell there. A bit of a fudgy nose to it. Fudge and chocolate. Getting almost roses maybe, and maybe even some coffee mixed in with the roses. There's a lot of stuff going on here. If I was going to say honey, it'd be the fireweed honey, and I am getting the berries now. Berries coming through. I say berries, they're more like blueberries. Or the dark fruit. We're getting a little bit of dark fruit, and probably something like an apricot, or maybe dried apricots or dried pears, or like a bag of dried fruit. Okay, palate. Wow. Easy drinking. That's what I'm going to say about this. It has the characteristics of something I reviewed not too long ago, so that's not good. It's going to be definitely honey forward. It has more of a moist mouth coating. I'm getting a sweetness in the dried fruit, slight tartness, but more sweetness. Slight coating, but a lot of moist. This is like very Christmassy. It's got the Christmas pudding, maybe even butter tarts. You know, this is definitely the sweetest presentation of all these, and I'm going to say it's probably the easiest. It's going to be the easiest. Most definitely, you want to have another sip of this stuff, but I'm not going to dwell on it. Okay, let's go second time rounds. I'm not going to change the order of these, so we can kind of, you know, I just want to be able to identify, because we did this one earlier, and I can kind of remember what I was saying earlier. So it helps me a bit with when I started off with this here, the first one there. My memory on this one here was, and I'm not going to do the nose again, more the palate. This was it was port forward, this one here. Very port forward, yeah. Also a little bit of a soapy taste there, but this is a rich, very rich drink, and it's, boy, if there's port in here, it's we'd probably be a tawny port, yeah, and very rich. But again, we don't know some of these. We won't know, so it could be a tawny or a ruby. They might even throw white in, not even tell you. But very port forward. It has a little bit of sweetness to it, but more on the tart side. There's no bitter notes in this drink. It has a very good presentation. I think for a port cask, this is definitely identifies with the cask more than the distillate. I'm going to say balance. I mean, it's balanced, but it's definitely port forward. So that's the second time round for that one. That's what I've noticed about that one. Nice whiskey. Okay. Umami notes on this one here. I remember here. Yeah, umami notes. I think this was the worm tub one, wasn't it? Yeah. Sludge. Mm-hmm. So this one's not for everybody. This is very old school. It has a lot. It's got a slight bit of bitterness to it. It's very umami. I really think there's worm tubs involved in this one, but we'll find out. Like I say, it's got some of that old school dirty whiskey taste to it. I don't know if everybody would want this as their go-to whiskey, but I like it. So the port is in the background on this whiskey, and balanced. It's interesting. It's got some layers that are coming on now, different layers. Now I'm getting, like, I had the spices there, kind of going through that right now. A little bit hot, but now it's settling down and it's more like baking spices. So from the peppery stuff to the baking spices, I'm getting a little bit of a dryness there. So I do feel the port's coming on now. Interesting. Umami, best way to describe it. Worm tubs. Okay. See where we are here. This is very light. The nose. Okay, almost the same in that you get a lot more on the palate than you do on the nose on this one here. Very slight bitter notes going on there, but mostly sweet, sour, tart, bitter, wee bit of umami, wee bit. It's a balanced drink, not overpowering. So we're tasting a little bit more of the distillate or the still. The port's there. Getting a little bit more of a drying effect on the mouth. Good coating. Okay. port driven, spicy. We got some slight bit of wood, but spicy. Berries, dark berries. Not overly sweet though. And good coating on the mouth. Wow. A little different this time around. There's a lot more character to this all of a sudden. And because I've gone through these, I think you're now, because you're running through, you've got a bar to set here, so it kind of helps a bit me identify. This does have, and I'm just sort of glancing through, and I'm seeing all the legs on the glass here. So there's some body to this too, and you can taste it. It's coating the mouth. There's body. Yeah, it's an interesting drink there. Okay, going to give the palate. Didn't do any water in between. One last test here, and this is where I'm going to clear my palate, and I'm going to run through them, and this is where we'll give it the score, okay? And I'll give you my thoughts as I'm going through here, and if I do a little, I say I'm not nosing it, but I do a little sniff every once in a while. It's just a reflex, because I'm curious. We're going to start right off with this guy here. This one here has been kind of baffling me, but I really do like this whiskey. It's a beauty, that's all I can say. So again, I've got to give it the nose. And I should know this, but I don't. I'll be honest with you, I should know it. Solange. Wow. This is a really nice drink. There's port here. There's no question about it. They've done a good job on the casks. There could be worm cups here. And I noticed it more in not my palate, but I noticed it more in the nose before. It kind of confused me, but I didn't notice it in the palate. Here I'm actually tasting a little bit of that in the palate. I'm going to make the guess. I think that but not like this here. This is, but I'm not always right. Okay, so we'll see what happens here. Definitely. This is a port-driven whiskey. It's in the high ranks of all these here. It has to be. It's a very balanced whiskey. It's got a little bit of dirtiness to it, but it's a smooth presentation. I think it's something that most people would enjoy. It's not a Glenfiddich, okay, or a Glenlivet. So for those that like those kind of drinks, they might not like this. I think it's more something I like. So this is gonna be ranked in the top. I got a feeling. So we'll find out what it is. Okay. Oh, the umami. It's got a richness to it, and it is unique. I'm looking at the legs on this. This has got legs. So, body, coating in the mouth. There's some of the more dark, spicier honeys, like Manuka honey going on here, but lots of spice. Bit of bitterness there, but just very slight. The umami notes. Got some cereal stuff going on, some malt. The dark fruits again. That's the port. There's some complexity. These first two drinks have some complexities to them. They've got a lot of layers to them. I don't think this is for everyone. This is a because it's port driven. It could be a different whiskey if it was sherry driven. The casks they've chosen here are definitely they're not overpowering, but they do have a lot of spice to them. They're not easygoing. How's that for description? This is a whiskey that I think it grows on you, and it's something you would accommodate because it's different. It's different than those commonplace whiskeys that you drank maybe when you first got into Scotch, like the Glenfiddichs and Glenlivets, and maybe we're doing transition as you went into Glenfarclas, and then you get into the little more complex stuff like Glendronachs, etc. They start getting quite interesting. So this is interesting. So without getting too carried away, we will move on. So far, these first two are quite interesting. Wow. Now this is easy going. Rich. It's got a lot more on the palate than the nose, but licorice. We got our honey notes again. We got our berries. A little bit of vanilla going on, and some citrusy stuff. Nice coating. This is definitely a more presentable drink than the first two for the novice and somebody looking for something a little more easy drinking. It's just more presentable for the public. I like it, but I am going to lean toward the more complex and maybe whiskeys that it takes a while to really appreciate what they're all about. So let's move on. And oh, lots going on here in the nose. So much. Very nice drink. Almost think I'm tasting worm tops again there for a second. Kind of syrupy. Little licorice notes. Got our so slight bitterness there, but it's there and it's disappearing. Wee bit of umami, just a wee bit. Got some interesting things going on there with the spices mixed in with the licorice there. I mentioned the fennel there, but I think I'm going to lean toward cough drops, but more the eucalyptus there. Lemon, eucalyptus, cherry mixed together, cherries. There's some grapey stuff, grapes going on there. There's some interesting layers going on here, boy. Boy. Still coming at me. The distillate isn't as strong in this one here, so it might be identifying what this is, but it's not weak. So maybe I don't know what it is, but I'm going to say that this one here is surprisingly it's changing, and it's changed from when the first round I did and the second round I did. So it can be. I would say this one here actually does have some character, maybe a wee bit more character than this one here in terms of its layers. So, but this has, I got a feeling this is a higher ABV. I'm tasting the alcohol. But anyways, we enough. Let's rate these. This is going to be kind of confusing because these two are very close, but they're different. They're different whiskeys, but they're very close in how I like both of these. This is an easier drinking whiskey, but it's still got a lot of character, and I'm not going to say that's for everybody. This one here is a little bit more of a challenge, and it's certainly something that I think that not everybody, again, is going to enjoy it as I do. It's got a lot of character, but I find this is a little on the smoother side, if that's the word we can use. They both have umami notes, and they both could be worm tops. It's really hard to say, but I'm going to say that this is meaty. It has some body to it. It has a lot of character. I find this goes down a little. It's just, it doesn't have, this has some sharp edges, this doesn't. So that's probably the best way to describe. They're both very interesting whiskeys, and it's an argument which way I'd go. Right now, I'd probably leave them where they are. But they could go either way. It could be like this, you know. They're definitely at the top. I kind of thought this was, but I'm going to switch. I think it's more here. I'm going to leave it at that. Should we take a look and see? So folks, remember, this was for fun. This is my own personal opinion. It could change on another night how we've rated these. Tonight, this is going to be number 1. And let's grab my list. And we're looking at, and I am reading number 2, Springbank. So tonight, Springbank is my favorite. It just squeaked past this guy here, who is, what have we got here? Number 3. And number 3 is Glendronach. These two here were switched during the port shootout that we did, that review we did a while back. It was actually Glendronach and then Springbank, and tonight it's Springbank over Glendronach. Hey, they're both really good whiskeys, but they are different. I do find that this Springbank is a little bit, it doesn't have the sharp notes that some of the Springbanks have, and it's certainly a very presentable whiskey. One of my favorites. I do like this Glendronach port finish. Much different than their sherry. A good presentation. Now let's get into, this is going to be interesting. So this is number 6. Oh my god, it's Cragganmore. Cragganmore beat out the Tullibardine. So tonight, I know I kind of had the Tullibardine ahead of it for a while there, and then something happened at the end there. So it definitely, this is something that I really think is worth exploring. The Cragganmore. This is a very underrated and a very unknown distillery. I really recommend this, especially the port cask. I just did a couple of reviews on them, and very impressed with it. Low ABV, but boy, for a low ABV, it's got some very, very heavy body for a low ABV. And then, of course, you know, the Tullibardine, that is their port finish, and very port forward, very presentable. This is a great whiskey for those that are getting in, novices, or those getting in first just getting into the port finished whiskeys and that, or anybody just getting into whiskey. It's got a little bit more character, I think, than some of your Glenlivet presentations and some of the other more common whiskeys out there. So anyways, that's how I'm finishing it off. This was for fun. Remember, it's my own personal opinion. I enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed it. One thing I will say, these are all good whiskeys, and certainly I would, if you can get any of these, by golly, go after them, especially the Glendronachs, the Springbanks, and I'm going to really give that Cragganmore a little bit more attention, because it's such a, I just discovered it a short while ago, and it's an unknown distillery, really. Very few people know about it, and it's very underrated. So I just like to see them beef up the ABV on it. It would make me happy to see a higher ABV. I'm going to be looking for it when I'm over in Scotland. By golly, I'll be checking over there. So anyways, that's it for tonight. I'm going to ask you to drink wisely, drink intelligently, and do not drink and drive. Until the next time, so long.